Hi everyone. So today we'll be solving a Cambridge IGCSE Physics Paper 2, the extended paper for the MCQ for the May-June 2020. The paper code for this particular paper is 0625/21. So this paper is of 45 minutes. So we'll be breaking this paper into multiple parts and then solving. So let's start with the first question. The first question says a pendulum makes 50 complete swings in 2 minutes and 40 seconds. What is the time period? So the formula for time period will be the total time in seconds, that is 160 seconds, divided by the total number of swings, that is 50. So the answer would be 3.2. So B is the correct option for the first one. Let's go to the second question. So in the second question, it says the student investigates the movement of a ball. Okay, and this is the motion of the ball given here. So the ball at time t is equal to 0, the velocity was 0, the ball was just dropped, and at time t is equal to 0.2 seconds, the ball had a velocity of 2.8 centimeter per second, and subsequently the velocity of the ball increased. Now, which statement describes the motion of the ball? The acceleration is not constant. Now, let's say at the first instant, when time t was 0, the velocity was 0, to time t is equal to 0.2 seconds, the velocity became 2.8. If it has a constant acceleration, then at time t is equal to 0.4 seconds, the velocity should have been double of this 2.8, that is 5.6 centimeters. Definitely A is the correct answer. Let's go to the next question. So the next question is, which statement about acceleration is correct? So it is related to changing of speed, correct? The formula for acceleration is what? A is equal to V minus U upon T, where V is the final velocity, U is the initial velocity, and T is the time. So definitely acceleration is what? Change of speed. So A is the correct option for 3. Going to the next question. So which statement correctly describes the efforts of placing a heavy load on a car? Assume you have a car here and you place a heavy load. So how difficult it will be to accelerate or to stop the car at rest? We know the formula of force, which is mass into acceleration. So if you increase the mass, that means if you put a heavy load, so the force applied to it to give an acceleration or to bring it to the rest will also increase if a heavy load is applied. That means C will be the correct option. Going to the next question, which says a mass of 6 kgs rest on the planet's surface. The gravitation acceleration is given as 20 Newton per kg. What is the weight? You know the formula for weight is what? Mass into gravitational acceleration. So here the mass is 6 kg, the gravitational acceleration is 20 newtons. That will be 120. So D is the right answer. Next question. This is a little tricky question, so just see how I'm solving. So the mass of a measuring cylinder is 190 gram. 400 centimeter cube of liquid is filled in it. The total mass of a measuring cylinder is now increased to 560 grams. So which of among these 4 solids will be more denser into it? Now, first find what is the density of the given liquid. So first for that, you have to find the mass. So mass of that given liquid will be 560, which is the new mass minus the original mass of the measuring cylinder, that is 190 grams. So 560 minus 190, that is 370 gram is the mass. Now what will be the density? We know the formula for density is what? Mass upon volume. Mass is given as 370, volume is given as 400. That means if you divide 300, 370 and 400, you will get the density as 0.925 grams per centimeter cube. Again, units are very important. Now you see here, you have 0.925. Which among these liquids are less denser than 0.925? So this is less, this is less. So 1 and 2 will float. Rest 2, since are more denser than this given liquid, so they will not float. Okay. So we'll go to the next question. Which says, which among the quantities is a vector? So we know what is the property of the vector. It should have a direction and it should have a magnitude. Now the last option, which is mass, as we all know that mass is a scalar quantity because there is no direction to it. Similarly for speed, there is no direction. It has a magnitude, and distance also has a magnitude but no direction. But as we all know, acceleration among all these 4 has a magnitude and a direction as well. So acceleration is the answer. Next question. An object of mass 1.2 kg is moving with a velocity of 2 meters per second. When it is acted by a force of 4 Newton, the velocity of the object increases to 5 meters per second. What is the period of time for which the force acts? You have to find the time here. Now, the velocity is 2 meters per second initial. The final is 5 meters per second. Now we know the formula F is equal to m into A. The force applied is given as 4. The mass is given as 1.2. So you can find the acceleration, that is what? 4 divided by 1.2. So when you divide 4 by 1.2, so you get 3.33 meter per second square as the acceleration. Now once you know the acceleration, we know the formula for acceleration is what? The formula for acceleration is A is equal to V minus U upon T. So that is final velocity is given to you, that is 5, initial is given to you 2, and time is given to you at 3.3. What will be the time? 5 minus 2, that's 3. So 3 by 3.33, that is 0.9 seconds. So for the 9th question, here is the answer. Going to the 10th question. In this, in this question, a car runs from a position X to a position Y. Now, there are a few things you need to understand here. When the car is at a higher position, the potential energy to weight. What's the formula for potential energy? The potential energy formula is mgh. So it has a higher height, because of which it will have a higher potential energy. Okay. Now, at a lower position at Y, where the height is less, so it will have a lesser potential energy. So potential energy decreases. Now, whereas when it was at a very high height, going down, the speed of this cart increases. Now, since the speed increases, we know the velocity, the formula for kinetic energy is half mv squared. Since the speed is increasing, kinetic energy is also increasing. So we'll see which option is correct. So kinetic energy is increasing and gravitational potential energy is decreasing. So C is the correct answer. Going to the next question, which says, which among the following does not have a sun as the original source? So for this, you should be knowing that geothermal energy is the source which does not have sun as the original source. The rest, all three have sun as their original sources. Going to the next question, which says that on labeled, which of the labeled surface should the block rest to produce the smallest force, the smallest pressure? So we all know the formula for pressure is what? Pressure is force upon area. Now to have this the smallest, to have the pressure the smallest, our area should be high, right? So we'll see here which among these three combinations will give me a higher area. So I guess I can easily say that 80 into 40 will have the highest area, and hence P will be having a high area. And since it has a high area, it will have a low pressure. So A will be the correct answer. Going to the next question, which says the pressure due to a liquid on an object immersed in liquid is 4,500 pascals. The density is given to you as 900 kg per meter cube. What is the depth of the object below the surface? Again, the formula is very clear that the formula is rho gh is the pressure applied. Pressure is given to you as 4,500. Rho we all know, and rho is given to you as 900. G is assuming it as 10 and taking it as height h. Now cancelling the zeros and cancelling it by 2. So h is what? 0.5 meters. Now units are very important. Now converting this meter into a centimeter, so height will become 50 centimeters. So C is the right option for you. Going to the next question. A gas is heated in a sealed container. The volume of the container does not change. What happens to the molecules of the gas? The average distance between the molecules increases. The average kinetic energy of the molecule increases. The mass of the molecule increases. The volume of each molecule increases. We know that the mass can't change. The volume can't change. But the average kinetic energy of the molecules will increase as the gas is being heated. So external energy is being provided. Temperature is being given to it. So the kinetic energy will increase. We'll go to the next part, which says water in a beaker evaporates when left on a bench for a period of time. Okay. Which three factors all affect the rate of evaporation? So you should know for this, what are the factors which affect rate of evaporation? Okay. So surface area is one of them. Temperature is one of them. Wind speed is one of the options. So A is one. Now volume is not an option because volume does not decide how much evaporation will take place. Okay. It won't affect the rate of evaporation. It might affect how much evaporation is taking place, but the rate at which evaporation is taking place, that the volume of that liquid won't decide. Okay. So we'll go to the next part. So a solid is heated to expand. The solid is heated to expand. What does happen to its mass and density? Now remember, any object is heated or compressed or pressurized, or if anything is done externally, the mass does not change. The mass remains constant. So these two will be, among these two, we have to check for the next option. So C and D are the ones. Now we have to see, now since it's being heated, so we know that if the solid is being heated, so the the volume of that substance will increase. And we know the formula for density is what? Mass upon volume. If volume is increasing, that means density will automatically decrease. So it is the C option. We go to the next one. So diagram shows 4 blocks of steel. The blocks are all on the same scale. The same quantity of thermal is given to all. Which block shows the greatest rise in the temperature? Now remember this, to calculate the greatest rise in the temperature, the block should be the smallest one, right? So because all of these are made up of same material, material. So since A is the smallest in size among all these 4, that's why A will have the greatest rise in temperature. Okay. So the next question is that why are metals better thermal conductors than any other solids? You might have a non-metal, you might have a metalloid, which is solid, but why metals are better thermal conductors? Okay. Now the first option is metal contains free electrons which help transfer energy. Correct. So as you all know that metals have free electrons which are able to move and which help in transferring the energy. So A is the right option. We'll go to the next question. So these are 2 freezers, X and Y, identical except that one has a door opening at the front and the other has a door opening at the top. Which doors are, both doors are the same size and are open at the same amount of time? Which freezers gains the least amount of thermal energy and why? Okay, now, so for this you have to understand the concept that so we all know that among warmer air and colder air, warmer air is heavier in, warmer air is lighter in weight. So if this is a freezer, so this has a warm and cold air inside it. So the warm air will go to the top, whereas the cold air will set at the bottom since it's heavy. Now, since in Y, since it's in X, since let's say this is my warm air, this is my cold air, and if the gate is being opened, so there are equal chances of my warmer air and the colder air to come out of this freezer. Whereas in this container, here is the warmer air and here is the colder air. So here the warmer air is accumulated at the top, and if I open the door, there are more chances that the warmer air will come out of this freezer. Now, seeing the options. So X colder air falls wrong, X warmer falls wrong, Y cold air falls. I guess C is the correct option. Going to the next question. A wave of frequency 6,600 Hz travels 1320 meters in 4 seconds. What is the wavelength? Again, simple question. So we have to find the wavelength here. So we know the formula for the wavelength. Wavelength is velocity upon frequency. So here, first you have to find velocity. So that will be the total distance. That is 1320 divided by 4. So 1320 divided by 4 is 330 meter per second. Now frequency here is given as 6600. We can just divide them. So lambda equals to 6600 divided by 1 divided by 330. Sorry, my bad. So lambda will be equal to 330 divided by 6600. So that is 0.05 meters. So A will be the correct option.